What's up, nerds? Welcome back to the channel. After shooting on the Blackmagic Pocket 4K for over 2 years, I've grown a pretty big arsenal of accessories and gear to make that camera a video creation workhorse, or to make it into this giant camera rig that I have right here. So in this video, I'm going to tell you what I think are the 5 essential accessories for the Blackmagic Pocket 4K. Starting with number 5, we have a Samsung T5 or T7 SSD. Honestly, you can use any type of SSD. I prefer the Samsung T5 series mostly because there's more holders to mount it to your cage or your rig, and so I just feel like it's a lot more accessible. This one specifically is a 500 gig SSD, but you can get a 1 terabyte all the way up to 2 terabytes if you want. For number 4, this is actually a new one that I recently added that I wish I would have added a long time ago. This is an IR cut filter. Basically what this does is it cuts out infrared light that the sun creates. Now this is actually one of the downsides that the Blackmagic Pocket 4K has, is that it doesn't have a built-in IR cut filter. Most cameras already have this, like the Fuji X-T4, Sony, you name it. Almost 99% of cameras are gonna have this filter. Now, what does infrared pollution actually do to your image? Well, basically what it does is it makes your blacks look extremely muddy. It can turn them to look maroon, even just like dispixelated. It can really ruin your image in an essential moment. Now, you only need to use that if you're gonna be using neutral density filters in the light of day, because it only comes from the sun. Now, the difference isn't completely night and day, but when I do use this filter, I do see enough of a difference to make it worth the purchase. For number 3, I put a cage. Now, a cage for any camera can be super essential to be able to attach accessories, rails, a handle, external recorders, and other things like that. But for the Pocket 4K, you really need it. It allows you to use the external SSD to record to, you get a handle, and then you can add battery accessories because we all know that the battery life on the 4K is kind of a nightmare. But yes, if you have a Pocket 4K, you've got to get a cage. For number 2 on the list, we've got the Sigma 18-35 f1.8. This lens is a dream. It really acts super similar to a cinema zoom lens, especially when you add this little gear ring accessory that you can get from Tilta. And with the Pocket 4K and a Speedbooster adapter, this kind of becomes a 24-70 f1.8, or in translated terms, an f1.2, because you get an extra stop of light with a speed booster. Speaking of a speed booster, number 1 on my essential accessories list is a speed booster. If you haven't heard of one of these, well, you're missing out. This is the EF to Micro Four Thirds Metabone Speed Booster, specifically the S version. Now, the XL version or the brand new versions of these can run close to $650, but I've seen them used for close to $400 or even less. And the S version you could get for maybe a couple $100. But basically what this does is it changes the field of view of your sensor to make it look like your sensor is more of a Super 35 sensor instead of a Micro Four Thirds, giving you a 1.5 times crop instead of a Micro Four Thirds 2 times crop. And again, it also gives you an extra stop of light. So your 1.8 becomes a 1.2, your 2.0 becomes a 1.8, etc., etc. There's also another speed booster that I've used in the past called the Viltrox Speed Booster. Now that one does the exact same thing, but it's $180. It tends to wig out every once in a while. I did have some issues with the f-stop, but for the price, I really think it was worth the purchase. Bonus accessory that I wasn't gonna add in here, but I'm going to right now, is a way to get external battery power on this camera. Now there's a couple options that you can go about. Right now I have a V-mount battery on here, so this enormous thing, and this is gonna give me battery for, honestly, I could probably film for 2 days with this thing. But another option that you can get is these little Sony 970 batteries. This specific version, which I'll link down below, lets you attach DC inputs as well as USB. So if you wanted to power like the Nucleus Nano, or if you needed to power an external monitor, then this is gonna give you that capability. But you do need one little accessory. So this is a Tilta Sony battery adapter. I'll leave links to everything that I've been talking about this entire video down below. They're not affiliate links, they're just there for your convenience. But basically this lets you adapt your Sony battery right here, clicks in, and this lets you adapt it to give power to your Pocket 4K. Another reason I use this battery is when I'm on my RS2 with the Pocket 4K, I just mount this to the little sidearm and I'm able to run all day almost on one battery. So those are what I think are the essential accessories for the Blackmagic Pocket 4K. If you think I missed something or if you have some other ideas, feel free to comment down below what accessories you think are the best for the Pocket 4K. And if you enjoyed this video, maybe think about subscribing and hitting that bell button so you never miss out on new young filmmaker content. Good luck filmmaking.